I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Great.
And dawn of discussion. Grr.
I don't think we've had that one yet.
No, we haven't.
That's quite good. Anyway, welcome to Dawn of Discussion, where we report on news that happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Well, better late than never.
I actually don't remember. Anyways, today we wanted to talk about something that we kind of missed at the time, but that's because we had a bunch of episodes kind of racked up to go. The Snyder cut for Justice League has been
confirmed.
And yeah, it's been announced. Next year, 2021, coming out on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much just America gets to see it? I don't actually know what the rules are.
I mean, I'll imagine they'll they'll do it on HBO Max, and then they'll do like a DVD or an iTunes release, so that way people can actually buy the film afterwards as well. Because
yeah, makes sense.
Why wouldn't Warner Brothers do that?
Because they don't. We already know they don't like money because they made the platform exclusive for bloody America.
Yeah. That's fucking genius there, ain't it, lad?
Yeah, it's true marketing. Meanwhile, here's Disney Plus just fucking spreading its seed all over the world, you know? Just money.
Right into the camera.
We give us your junk, you give us your money. That's what Disney is. It's just a massive prostitute.
Yeah, pretty much. But so do you talking a little bit about the Snyder cut, thoughts? Do you think it will be good or do you think it will be bad?
Oh, I think honestly, okay, so
before that, just a question. Have you seen the extended cut of Dawn of Justice?
Yes, I have.
And what do you think of that? Did you think it was better than the first one, or
well, the original thing? I've had conflicting feelings. Basically, so it's longer.
Yep.
But there's a lot of scenes in there that I think make the film make more sense.
You froze there.
Oh, I feel like it had a couple of scenes that really make the film make more sense, basically.
Yeah.
But it has become so much more boring than it already was.
Yeah, that's true.
2 hours to get into the titular fight. And still, like, the ending was still a little bit rushed. So, I don't know.
Just to pause there, Ron, we're having technical issues on my end because you're freezing every once in a while.
Am I?
Yep.
Well, that's annoying. I don't know if I'm...
Which means I'm missing a lot of what you're saying.
Okay. I will talk very slowly.
That's not going to matter, because if you talk and then it freezes again, I'm still going to miss what you say afterwards.
But you heard it, didn't you?
No.
Flawless logic. Okay. I'm just going to repeat what I say every time. That'll do the trick. Oh, by the way, if you haven't guessed, lockdown is still a thing. You know,
yeah.
Here we are. Still not in the same.
In the same room. Hopefully in July, though, we'll be back to regular scheduled meetings.
What is regular scheduling?
I have no idea. But anyway,
yeah,
I got a gist of what you were saying about the Dawn of Justice cut, that it was longer, but it made more sense, but wasn't as it was boring.
It made more sense. It was just a little bit more boring.
Yeah.
It was a bit rushed. And this the thing as well is, like, I don't think Zack Snyder is that good of a filmmaker.
I think he's made maybe 2 or 3 films of his that I really like, but other than that, yeah, he hasn't made. He's a very good, because I remember watching Man of Steel and the visuals, and actually I was rewatching scenes from Dawn of Justice, and it's visually they're spectacular. Like, he is a great visual director, but I think beyond that he isn't as as good as one would hope or think. I don't think he's good enough to carry the franchise through, if that makes sense.
Well, he doesn't. I don't think he understands emotion all that well. You know.
Yeah.
And like, it's clear that he doesn't really care about the source material at times. Like basically, like the main thing that he prides himself on is in his films. Usually, you can see a scene that really resembles a panel from the comic books, which is nice. You just freeze. How dare you?
Yep.
How dare you?
You froze for me. How are you saying that? How?
Because I have two computers, so I can verify who froze.
Well, you're freezing for me, so I think it's.
Okay, well, this is great. This is fantastic.
Let me try something first. So maybe it's the problem with the computer on. Let me switch over. Let me just see if that works.
Okay, I'm just not gonna cut just yet because, you know, I think this is quite great. So, how are you guys doing? We never asked that, you know. We never ask how you guys are doing because it's always about us. It's always about our opinions about all these films, all this pop culture. I don't know, like, there's you know, there's so much stuff. Have you guys seen Harley Quinn? It's actually a pretty decent show. You know, season 2 going strong. Season 1 and all 4. You know, if you want, but season 2 is on the American stuff. You know, quite intriguing, quite gripping, I'd say. What else is going on? Man, really need to fill the time here. Oh, there you are.
All right, let's.
Yeah. Oh, you cut out completely there. Can't hear you, mate. I can now.
No.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I was actually just.
Can't hear you for some reason.
You can't hear me. Well, that's great. I think I'm gonna have to stop. Oh, hello. What's happening now? Someone's being supportive. No, I can't air this now. Anyway, so Rick and Morty ended. You know, that's a thing. You know, it's an all-around great season finisher. Honestly, like, you know, better than the last one. You know, remember season 3, episode 10? Not very good, but season 4, episode 10, pretty damn nice. You know, finally got a little bit of resolution with this whole Phoenix person debacle. You know, this whole Tammy thing. You know, the whole thing with the 2 Beths. You know, just it's pretty good. A guy saying we should probably have tested all of our connections before recording. Maybe, you know, I don't have all the answers. I'm just a sad man sitting in his room, just, you know, doing shit. I don't have the answers. Do you have the answers? I think not. I still can't hear you. He's gone now. Oh. Anyway, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, also ongoing on all 4. I know that America's already seen it, but, you know, I'm watching it on all 4 because I can't be bothered with the whole, you know, I kind of want to have shows that I'm giddy for, you know, to come out, and I don't really have them anymore. Even like the shows that people keep recommending to me, I don't particularly care. You know, I want to see the shows that I want to see. How's it going? I can't hear you. Wait, speak. Nothing yet. Wait, can you screen share so I can see your goddamn settings? Also, is your microphone plugged in? That's a big help. Oh, what's happening? eerily quiet. Why am I still recording this? Like, there's nothing. Check your Google settings, maybe. You know, if you go to your settings, maybe you can select your in and outputs. You know, that whole thing. I'm technical. I know these things. My mouth is very dry. Oh. Well. I am still recording this. I don't know why. I cannot hear you. No. I have to communicate with him via other means. Because he clearly can't hear me either. Which means there's probably a connection problem. I'm gonna send him a text now. Can you screen share? Maybe there's a setting. I don't know, like, you know, these are the questions that I ask myself. But if you want to have like an inside look of like how shit works, let me present my entire screen. This one, share. All right. Now look at this presentation. All right.
Oh,
Welcome to my PowerPoint. Oh,
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I was
All
going
right,
to do a
hear you.
whole PowerPoint on helping you out, but clearly that's not necessary anymore. Well, you know.
I mean, I can't. Let me check. One.
Well, that was my presentation. Let's stop that. Okay.
There we go. That's better. That was weird.
We've switched around now, apparently. Okay, well,
All right, let's go. Carrying on.
Carrying on. Well, that was an outtake and a half.
Yeah.
I was literally
That was
all I did was literally like ask the audience how they're feeling because we never ask about them. Maybe because it's like one or two people.
Yeah, and it's us typically, and we know how we feel.
Yeah, it really is. Anyway, that was 10 minutes.
Oh. Well, what we were just talking about? We were talking about Zack Snyder, and that we just don't think he's like good of a director for telling stories set within the DC universe.
Basically, if you want, give me 2 seconds. I'll do a great Zack Snyder impression. Hang on. Watch this, alright? Are you looking? Look. Let's grab this one. I didn't even look which one it is. Right? Alright, okay. Alright. So literally just go. Ooh. Panel nice. Give me this. Give me this one. Panel nice. Give me this. Wait. Oh. Panel nice. Give me this. That's Zack Snyder in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like I don't know how to feel whether or not Justice League will be better or not, because at the same time, part of me thinks it will be more consistent now and not as split, because Justice League felt like it tried to go in 2 different directions.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether or not giving it focus and keeping it on one set path is going to be better or if it's going to make it worse.
I think people don't realize how boring it's going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's going to be very like singular tone, but it's going to be the dark and broody tone that kind of made Dawn of Justice so kind of long and
hard to bear. Because I think that's the thing, is like the dark and broody stuff works really well for Batman standalone films and things, but when you put it into other superheroes and other franchises, it becomes a little more derivative to an extent. It feels forced. Doesn't feel like it's natural there.
Also because Superman, especially like for Dawn of Justice, like Superman is a symbol of hope, so it's
Yeah.
a very light character, and like Batman stands for fear, which is very dark. In reality, the whole film should have been two-toned. When Superman is on, it's quite hopeful and cheering and light.
Yeah.
And then when Batman is on, it should be darker and kind of hopeless in a way. And that would have probably worked, but he decided to go for the one like dark tone,
Yeah.
which doesn't work. And I'm pretty sure that with Justice League, he's probably gonna want to do the same. And also, one of the things that people don't realize is there was no real Snyder cut. Like, they're having to do reshoots now,
Yeah.
make up for all the scenes that weren't completed at the time. Because, well, not complete, sorry. They were gonna have to be reshoots anyway, but they didn't get to do them because
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
And like, that's the thing. I suspect, because I honestly suspect that HBO kind of just kept hearing that people wanted it and said, oh, and probably sent a message to Warner Brothers and Snyder saying, hey, look, we're willing to put the money into it if you let it happen. And Warner Brothers went, sure. I suspect Warner Brothers isn't putting in that much money into this at all. They're probably, it's that feeling that they're probably very done with Justice League now.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I guess only time will tell whether or not it will be any good.
I genuinely wonder. And also, like, you know, it's the kind of thing as well where, like, I don't know what it says about films in general as well. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's never been... It's not unheard of to have a film and then have it recut and then say, no, this is the definitive version.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the first time that it ever happens. No, obviously not. With Star Wars as well, where basically, like, another director took over and finished the film, and then the original director took over and said, no, this is the version it needs to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's happened with Star Wars before, like when he like did the CGI things on the older films.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars has done it. Alien has done it, I think, with some of the Alien 4.
Right.
Can't remember. I mean, yeah, it's not unheard of for films to do that. And I think more often than not, occasionally it usually doesn't make the films any better. I think Star Wars being the classic case is that they didn't need a huge amount to be improved, especially with Return of the Jedi with the woman with the really long mouth and big lips for some reason. I mean, I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. Yeah.
And yeah, but like even like films like Apocalypse Now, like have been re-edited like 3 times. Blade Runner's been re-edited like 5 times, something like that.
Yeah.
Unheard of, and I guess it's fair, but like at the same time, I kind of feel like it's a bit kind of, I don't know, like, you know, because like, you know, I worked at a film school, and I had to like manage like film students' films.
Yeah.
Which is great. And one of the things that was very much like told to me is that like there is a deadline. Like at some point, the students have to like send in their film, and then once that's done. Like you can keep editing your film forever, you can keep changing it forever, but at some point you have to decide, okay, we're done. This is what it is. I'm not going to touch it anymore because otherwise I'll never stop touching it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then put that.
You'll never get it perfect. That's the thing. A lot of people, because I even experienced that. Not even working at LFA, where people just wanted to keep going back and recut a lot of the things. So one of the short films I edited on was the 4-minute one. The director just constantly, I did an edit of it. The director didn't like it and went back and recut pretty much the whole thing on their own. So
yeah, which is a bit of a shitty thing to do because you gotta have to trust your editor.
Yeah. And
if Sarah did that, Jesus Christ.
Huh?
Imagine if Sarah did that for everything I did. I was like, it's good, but just give it to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think usually directors should never edit unless they're co-directing, and one is the more editing side of it, and the other one's the more on-set side of it. But even then, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna withhold judgment because I think also, to be fair, I think the visuals for Justice League were very the final fight was very. I don't know how to feel about it.
Really?
I just don't know. I feel like it felt very saturated and it almost felt too CGI to a weird extent. I know that probably doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes sense, but at the same time, like, what could they have possibly done to take that down? Because it's a CGI fest, like, and they didn't really have the time to render it all out because a lot of these were like last minute decisions.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the things that I found out as well is that basically, so Justice League is how long? Like 2 hours? Something like that?
Yeah, just under 2 hours, I think.
Yeah. The Snyder cut is supposed to be 4 hours long. All right. That's one thing. So because of it, like when it comes out, like they're still thinking about whether they want to just bring it out as a film or if they want to bring it out as like a 6-part miniseries or something like that. It's not entirely decided yet. But one of the things that is also mentioned at some point is that it was going to go up to the point where they fought Steppenwolf, and then Darkseid was actually going to appear himself as well.
Yeah.
So, how are you going to get that to happen without severely going over budget, and then not finishing at that time?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Darkseid, it's great that he's alluded. Actually, thing is, in the original Justice League film, he's not even really alluded to, which is what really bothered me. I mean, it's sort of he's referenced, I think, maybe once or twice, but never properly. And it isn't clear whether or not Steppenwolf has gone against Darkseid or if he's still working for Darkseid. That's another problem I had with the film.
No, I think he was working for him.
It just never felt clear because there were points where it seemed like some people speculated as, oh no, he's not. Steppenwolf went out on his own and he's no longer serving Darkseid. But I'm not sure. Because I must confess, one thing is my main problem though was with Steppenwolf is the sense that because I saw concept images Snyder had for how Steppenwolf looked and he looked very different, like more metallic and alien looking to a weird extent.
Yeah.
And if you look in the comic books as well, it's like they went for a weird cross because Steppenwolf is meant to be about the same height as Superman in the comics. He's not meant to be like 8 feet tall and dwarving everyone. And I don't know, I would have rather they go overboard like they did with Doomsday and completely change him, or if they had kept him more faithful to how he appears in the comic books, is that he is more of the same sort of height as a regular human, but still has a lot of power behind him. But
yeah. I know. Well, one of the things that has been reported anyway on the Snyder Cut is that basically, like I said, they need to do a couple of reshoots, and most of the actors are on board to like go back and shoot some stuff.
Yeah.
One of them is Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And not just for this film. Actually, he's back for all of them, really.
Yeah.
Back again. He's Superman once again, which makes this whole situation of him being fired look so incredibly stupid.
Yeah, the firing of him didn't really make. It was so unclear, and it didn't really make any sense. It felt like it was because of scheduling conflicts. Because I think of Mission Impossible and The Witcher, I think those were the two main things that were a bit of a problem. And now that he's probably sticking to The Witcher, he can probably divide his time between shooting The Witcher for 6 months and then shooting something for Warner Brothers for 6 months, kind of thing, like a DC movie. So I think that is probably how they've worked it out.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows?
I'm glad he's back, though.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm happy to see him like in anything else should it pop up. There's been speculations that he would appear in the Batman, but not likely. It makes no sense.
Yeah, saying it's a prequel. So he'll probably, I imagine he's going to get his own film again, which is going to be good.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It would not surprise me if he was in the Shazam sequel that features Shazam versus Black Adam. That would not surprise me.
I'm not entirely sure what they want to do with that, because I think they wanted to make the Black Adam solo film first.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing first. Yeah,
giants, and then have them clash.
Yeah.
Which, you know, should be good. I mean, it's The Rock, so, you know, how bad could it realistically be? What?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about everything we've been talking about on WhatsApp. You know,
Oh,
what
come
we're
on.
talking about, and now I'm seeing.
So there's been this discussion on WhatsApp about the validity of the Fast and Furious films, which we've discussed on the show multiple times.
It's more. I'm worried that for some reason it's gonna intersect into DC, and I'm gonna go, oh no.
Well, I mean, Vin Diesel is still on the Marvel side.
Yeah, so that's good. They can make it all family over there.
If Batista isn't, so crossover may happen.
Ah, true. Very true.
Guess we'll see.
Because thinking about the DC lineup, we'll talk about the Batman in a second, but I'm just remembering all the films they have scheduled. They've got Wonder Woman 2 obviously coming out soon.
Yep, next year.
And they've got Suicide Squad 2 planned, I think.
I think in next year as well.
Yeah.
It's not even
Flash and they've confirmed they're going to be doing an Aquaman 2.
Yes.
Cyborg and Flash were both teased heavily, and just nothing has cropped up with them. So I'm not entirely sure how to feel or whether or not anything will actually happen with those. Cyborg and Flash.
Flash is getting a film.
He is. Okay.
Yes. Basically, but they're being very vague about what the nature of the film is. First, they said it was going to be a prequel to Justice League. Then they said it was a sequel, like dealing with all that, all of what happened. Then they said it was going to be a Flashpoint film.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of a little bit confusing if it's even happening still.
I suspect what they're probably doing is they probably have several scripts in the running, but they're waiting to see how well Wonder Woman does before they confirm anything. If Wonder Woman does well, then they're probably going to go, okay, we'll continue with as is, and we won't go back and change anything.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work, then they may do something like Flashpoint. But I guess they're waiting to see. But I guess there's the problem: how long can they wait to see before they decide to do anything?
Yeah. By the way, for anyone watching who doesn't really know the concept, Flashpoint is like an event that took place in the comics like 2014, something like that.
Yeah, around that sort of time.
Basically, it was the thing that basically Flash went back in time to save his mother, but inadvertently changed everything. So he came back to a fucked up reality. And basically, the most important thing about that whole story is that at some point he changed the timeline again by stopping himself, creating a paradox in a way that basically merged all the universes. So then that reset the universe in a way. So that gets heavily referenced in the comics still, but in the animated films as well, every now and then.
Well,
the last one especially.
Yeah, have you seen the last one yet?
Yeah, I fucking hated the ending because of Flashpoint.
Yeah, basically it's just Flash
like,
doing Flashpoint again.
Just go like, hey, you changed the timeline.
Do it again.
Do it again.
I could kind of understand why, because it was a situation where everything was just so fucked up that it was like
emotionally taxing ever.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see where they take the animated universe now.
I think they finished.
Well, but for how long though? That's the thing. Before they go, we need to make another animated Justice League movie and another animated Batman movie.
They're probably going to do either standalone films or they're going to kickstart a new franchise, but they're not going to continue with this animated universe.
Oh yeah, no, they're gonna kickstart and redo everything all over again.
That's why I hate that for an ending as well, because it's like, oh, every time something bad happens, Flash just fucking runs back in time and changes everything.
Yeah, I will say though, I did like the start of it. I mean, it was fucking brutal. The fact that they all got fucking massacred was brilliant.
Up until the ending, was probably one of the best films they've ever made.
Yeah,
and then they went and ruined it by kind of taking away like all. It's like literally just like you watch Sherlock, right?
Bits and pieces of it.
Happened. Basically, so I think. I don't remember when, maybe before or just after the 4th season, they did like a one-off episode that actually took place in Victorian London, and then turned out to be a like a anxiety dream, like it was And I thought it's those kind of things as well, where it's like it's so weak to just say like, oh, the whole thing didn't happen.
Yeah,
it's like it's away from the validity of it,
because I think it would have been they would have been able to get away with it just fine if they had just not had Flashpoint say this is how it ends. It's bittersweet, the good guys still win, but they've lost a lot. So I feel like that would have been fine as an ending. The Trigon stuff was cool though. That was well done. Yeah. Because I never realized how much I wanted to see Trigon fight Darkseid till it happened. I was like, it's amazing.
This actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The fact that even Trigon at the very end is like, thank you, daughter. Now I get to have what I want. An eternal fight. And I was thinking, didn't see that one coming.
Well, ending of Titans confirmed.
Yeah. But, so going into the Batman now, we're I guess mainly going to be talking about the cast. I think the cast is pretty good up to maybe one or two choices, and I think then it's a little strange at points. I just realized the name of one of the characters, and I cannot wait to bring it up. But we'll go through. So they've got Robert Pattinson obviously as the Batman.
Yep.
They've got Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth, which I don't know whether or not he's meant to be recast as Jeffrey Irons, or whether or not they're trying Jeremy Irons.
Yeah,
I meant Jeremy Irons, or whether or not they're gonna do something to make him look younger, because they're age-wise I think Andy's a little younger, but not that much younger.
No, I think he's quite a bit younger.
Is he? How old is he?
I don't. Jeremy Irons, I think, is somewhere in the 60s.
Andy Serkis is in his mid-50s.
Oh, okay. It's not that bad then.
Yeah.
But then how much younger is Pattinson compared to... actually, quite a bit, probably.
Yeah, I think Robert Pattinson is like in his 30s. Yeah, he's in his mid-30s, and I think...
Ben Affleck is like late 40s, probably.
Late 40s, early 50s, yeah.
Which, they're probably not that far off then.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're that far off. I will have a quick look.
An interesting choice. I don't think I've ever considered that being possible. Purely like the characters that Andy Serkis usually plays.
Yeah, I didn't consider it possible, but now that I think about it, and seeing interviews with what he's like as a person, like he seems like a really good choice because he seems very calm and mellow as a person. So basically, it's kind of like probably they're going to go, "Hey Andy, play yourself, but posh English," and I'll be going, "Sure."
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Just don't go too crazy. Action. Alfred, I'm hurt. Yes, master. I can't save you, master. Where's the precious?
You just see him. See him there, like patting a batarang. The precious.
Precious.
Okay, so Ben Affleck is 47, and Jeremy Irons is 71.
71. Oh, okay, there you go. So quite an age difference.
Yeah, so there's about 15 years there. So that could work.
Yeah, that could work. In any case, also we've got Colin Farrell as the Penguin, which I'm skeptical about.
Yeah,
I worry. Because, dude's good, but it's not got a great amount of range, if I can be honest.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think no, because that's the thing. What he's been in Total Recall, which wasn't great. What else has he been in? Because he's been in a lot, and I remember him playing a relatively unhinged character in one song.
Psychopath?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm suspecting that's probably the direction they wouldn't surprise me if they went. He was in Dumbo as well.
He was in Dumbo as well, yeah. He was in a lot of...
Oh, he was also in, if you remember, in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yep.
So, and he wasn't...
It wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but he wasn't bad in that, I would say. He wasn't the worst part of that film by any means.
Oh, remember in Bruges?
What else? He was in Alexander, the Alexander the Great film, which
I don't remember.
Is it? It's okay. He was in
The Gentleman.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, he was. Of course, he was.
Yeah. He's been in a lot. I think he could possibly pull it off. It won't be easy. I think weirdly enough, the actor they have playing the Riddler is a good choice, but I feel like he could also weirdly enough pull off playing
Who that dude?
The Penguin.
What?
I think weirdly enough, yeah, Paul Dano.
Paul Dano.
Who's- Paul Dano is playing the Riddler. I think he could be either one. Weirdly enough,
he can do well. I think they probably want to go with a more realistic penguins and not someone who actually like
is fat and has flippers the hands.
Yeah, I think they kind of want to go like the Arkham route, but not disgusting.
Yeah, like a more of a mobster kind of. He's a gangster kind of guy rather than
like a South London mobster.
Having said that, I mean, you just have to remember, like the I mean, how they made Gary Oldman look in Darkest Hour for his role in Churchill, and then how they made Christian Bale look in
Vice.
And Vice. I mean, they may go that kind of route where they go with the prosthetics and put something on him to make him look more fat and ugly.
Maybe wouldn't surprise me. Yes, that works.
Then they have Zoe Krav. Yeah. What else has she been in?
I don't know off the top of my head.
She was in Divergent. Oh, she was in The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Sure.
Mad Max, apparently, and X-Men First Class.
Sure.
And she was in Days of Future Past as well. I wonder. Oh, I think I remember who she was. I think she was the mutant with the butterfly wings, or whatever it was. I think that was her.
Sure.
Apparently, she was in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as well. Don't know who she would have played in that, but so she's been in a few things. Sure. Yeah. I think she could pull off the look for Catwoman.
She can probably do, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they probably want to try and go this Halle Berry route, but proper.
Yeah, proper, not
cringy.
Yeah, because it's interesting to think of now. If you look at it, they're kind of going back to the original Batman style where they had usually around two villains. Because if you remember the Tim Burton Batman films and then the Joel Schumacher, they had usually two villains per film.
Yeah, true.
Because they had Penguin and Catwoman in the second one. They had Riddler and Two-Face in the third one. And then Poison Ivy and Victor Freeze and Bane in the final one.
To be fair, Batman and Robin was a bit of a madhouse.
Yeah, that was a sort of...
Don't talk about that one.
What killed the dinosaurs? It wasn't the Ice Age. I'll tell you that much.
It wasn't. Quite the opposite.
I'm wondering as well if they're going to have it be where Catwoman is a villainess that ends up switching sides, or whether or not she is already kind of an anti-hero at times.
Yeah. I mean, she never really was a villainess per se. I mean, she was.
In the 1960s, I feel like in the earlier run, she was a lot more of a villain.
But like in modern times, she's more of like
an anti-hero thief. Like she'll...
Yeah, like a self-employed thief, I guess.
Yeah, so she steals for herself, but she doesn't voluntarily hurt or kill anyone unless she feels like she has to.
Like, I feel like if she has plans for like mass murdering, then yeah, she's a villainess, but other than that, not really.
Yeah, and she usually doesn't have plans for killing.
Like Mr. Freeze doesn't really have plans for mass murder.
He just does it because it's all in the name of his wife.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then who they've got whatchamaface as Commissioner Gordon, Jeffrey White. There we go.
Oh, cool.
So they're going with a black Commissioner Gordon.
That's okay.
I mean,
they've done a black film as well.
Yeah, I think, and when you actually look at the actor and think about the films he's been in, I think he could easily pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah, it could work. I don't see a problem with this.
Yeah. And then they've got Peter Sarsgaard. Yeah, Sarsgaard. Playing Gil Coulson. Not Phil Coulson. Gil Coulson.
Well, that sounds a bit confusing. Who is this meant to be?
Oh God! I swear to God, if they have him like working for Argus and he's like a secret agent, I'll lose my shit.
Well, be ready.
Gil Coulson.
But here's the real question about the Batman.
Well,
Do you think they're going to do an obligatory flashback?
to the
Frank Lloyd, that whole thing. Because it's almost like every Batman film has it these days. Even if Batman's not even in it, it's there.
I mean, that's the thing. When you actually look back at it, there's only, besides the 1960s one, I'm going to exclude that one, but pretty much every other Batman film has had reference to it, except, weirdly enough, for Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Because in the first Batman film, with directed by Tim Burton, having, I can't remember the name of the actor.
Michael Keaton.
There we go. I was thinking Kevin something. I was like, well, his name's not fucking Kevin. Michael Keaton.
There you go.
They had that one in there, but to be fair, that was a massive plot point because it turned out the Joker was the one who did it. I think they referenced it as well in the second one, but it wasn't as heavily influenced. The third one just went completely back to it, and they had whole flashbacks, and apparently he was still dealing with the trauma and everything.
Yeah, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, the third one was a bit of a...
I don't know. I never really felt that well, but the villains were great. That's about it.
Well, even the problem is with the villains is like it was like, let's take the Riddler, let's take Two-Face, let's get the aesthetics right, but have the Joker's personality just thrown in there a little bit for both of them. So they're both batshit crazy, no pun intended.
It was literally just like, you're Jim Carrey, you're Tommy Lee Jones, act like it.
Yeah, but Tommy Lee Jones doesn't act like he did. Like, he's not Two-Face. He's a lot more
stone-faced.
Yeah, which weirdly enough, actually, I feel like would have worked better for Two-Face, because the whole evil maniacal laughing and him dealing with like a crazy psychotic split personality, which to be fair, Two-Face does have, but it's a little more subtle. It felt like the Joker at times, and that was my problem with it.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Anyway, I'll be interested to see though, because obviously, like, and they've got Falcone, who's supposed to be in there, played by John Turturro. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Names are. I'm doing great with names today.
Sure.
He's been married for a long time. Sorry, weird random note.
I'm sure.
Since 1985.
Well, strong marriage.
Yeah. And then they have some random woman playing a character called Bella Real.
Guess we'll find out.
Guess we'll find out who that is supposed to be.
One day when production starts up again or something.
Yeah. We've only gotten like one screen grab or shot of any of it, and that's when Robert Pattinson's in the suit on top of his bike. But on that, we've not seen.
Shots. No, there's just shots of him standing next to the Batmobile as well.
Is there? I've not seen any.
Yeah, it looks quite cool. I'm not gonna lie. It actually just looks like a regular car, but fortified.
Okay, so this is meant to be like really early days then, by the looks of things.
Yeah, but I think that's good because it in the Snyder stuff, we've gotten such ridiculous Batmobiles that actually look more like a car compared to Nolan's films. So I'm kind of appreciative of that, but at the same time, I'm like, no, this is a bit dumb.
Yeah.
This is a car I can appreciate.
That's the thing. I think it's good to be going back to like because the only one where we kind of got to see a young Batman starting out was Batman Begins.
Yeah.
And even then, it felt like he very quickly got a hang of the ropes. Because if you remember from Batman Year One, it's like he really got his ass kicked within the first year. Like he was.
Yeah, he really did.
He got the shit beat out of him a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see if they do that.
Though. He did.
Yeah, he did loads of training.
But then that training applies to ninjas. I don't know if it applies to bloody gangsters.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
But the car, it has vibes of the car that he had in the animated series.
Okay.
But slightly more, let's call it consumer.
Yeah, like a souped up muscle car.
Yeah,
basically.
that. Yeah. But with armor plating like all around it.
Yeah. Probably it's gonna have NOS as well.
The what?
It's gonna have NOS as well.
NOS. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. One of them literal readers. There's people who read abbreviations and they're like, "Oh, it's NOS."
It does look really cool, actually, though.
It does.
That's what to be said. Looks really. I just think it looks actually weirdly menacing.
Yeah. And then a car pulls up next to it, window goes down, Vin Diesel. Hey, I'll race you for it.
And then just Batman goes, sure. And he just gets out of the car and pulls Vin Diesel out and pummels him and takes him to jail.
Oh, I just imagine Batman just going, no. And then he gets into his car and just drives off.
No, Vin Diesel's a criminal. He must be taken to.
No, come on.
There must be justice.
He's not a criminal. He just, no one knows that he's working for the government. That's all it is. Triple X, don't worry about it. Look, I watch a lot of Vin Diesel films. I don't know why. They're not very good.
Triple X, in other words, the title of the film that everyone isn't Triple X another like slang for porn? Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think the studio knew that? Yeah. Are there a bunch of naked women having sex with people? Nah.
No.
Oh, that's disappointing. What's the point then?
Who cares? It's just fun action.
Yeah, it's fair. It's action porn. There we go. That's
It's
what
action
it is.
porn.
There we go.
So we can get great quotes like, more of the story, don't be a dick. Because his name was Richard.
Oh God. I don't think I've ever seen a Triple X film.
Okay, so let me break it down for you. The first one is quite good. The second one, questionable, but that's because, Vin Diesel wasn't actually in it. It was Ice Cube instead. And then the third one, Vin Diesel's back. It's more like, if you like the first one, you like the third one. The second one is like, if you like Ice Cube, you like the film. If you like the first one, it doesn't really mean anything.
Fair enough.
There you go. That's my elaborate explanation on whether you would like Triple X films or not.
Oh God.
Also, it's like Fast and Furious, but it has nothing to do with family. So really, it's nothing like Fast and Furious at all.
In other words, you're not going to die from alcohol poisoning playing the Fast and Furious drinking game, which is every time they say family, you got to take a shot.
Yeah, you're going to stay sober all the way through.
Oh, okay, that's good. Trying to think of, because I think there's not much now left to talk about with DC. I think that's pretty much all there is. I think that's pretty much all we need to talk about.
And I think
I
as well.
I am optimistically hopeful for the Batman. Sorry.
Yeah, it should be good.
Simply because I think they've got a great director with Matt Reeves. And they've got a decent cast as well.
They've got a pretty good cast, yeah. And also, if they do the story right, all they have to do is like a Batman Year One thing, and they're good.
Yeah, a Batman, an early, because I think that would be good for people who don't like Batman to see a side of him in which he isn't a complete badass. He's starting out, and he is occasionally getting his ass kicked. And
also, people who like Batman too much, they just go like, "Oh, he's just a dude."
Yeah, exactly. It's a good enlightening moment for both Batman haters and Batman fanboys to realize that Batman is more three-dimensional than most people give him credit for.
Yeah. I mean, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
But
no one's gonna think twice about it. But anyway.
Cool. I think that's all for this episode. Thank you very much. See you next week or not. I'm not.
PewDiePie!
Cross brand.
Don't sue us, please. Please, no.
Thank you. Please, Mr. PewDiePie, we do not have money.
He wouldn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't care. He's just happily just watching his Phineas and Ferb.
But yeah, that's it for us, guys. Tune in next week.
Or not, we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, probably will be. All right.